guys, I want you to understand that to be a conqueror is to simply overcome by definition. And so every time you fail to uphold your duty, to respond to the higher calling of which you are tempted to move your life towards when you hear the voice, the inner voice that whispers it's time to fucking change, when you ignore that fucking voice, well, guess what? You're ignoring something beyond you. You're ignoring the highest version of yourself. You are being conquered by your lower self. So most of you guys walk around like you're a conqueror, but in all factuality, when we deduce you and reduce you to what you are, we now realize that you are being conquered by life. You guys do not move through life with any form of power, with any form of momentum, with any force. You guys are being brutalized and immobilized by life. Life is treating you like a fucking bunkie in prison. And so if you're not going to retaliate, if you're not going to do something to fix that, well, you're going to go through life on this infinite cycle of being fucking raped by life. And so what I want you guys to understand is that if you're not going to do anything to get the fuck up, well, don't act like a fucking conqueror. And so to be a conqueror is to overcome what is conquering you. And so every time you feel to uphold the duty to get sober, to get fit, to get enlightened, to work on your personal development, to create a vision for yourself, which you believe you're worth, and to actually dedicate your life towards that cause, you have to understand that you are being fucking conquered by life. And so what the fuck I want you to get through your fucking head is that every fucking day you feel to uphold your duty, to wake the fuck up and to use some power in life, you are being immobilized and destabilized by life itself. And this is what rendered you inferior by conduct. Because the most powerful of people, the most auspicious of people, they look in the mirror and they conquer themselves, because you have to understand that you are life. And so to be conquered by life is to simply be conquered by yourself, because there's nothing you can't control about your life. Now, most of you guys will instantly make an excuse for that, but the ones that are committed to misunderstanding, well, we don't want you to understand anyways. But for the people who truly seek change, who desperately want something more, well, you have to understand that your life is a direct reflection of you. And so the business you haven't handled is a reflection of your inadequacy. And so what you have to do is you have to erupt with momentum and force, and you have to dedicate your life and you have to dedicate yourself to building up your life in a prosperous manner. You have to choose to want to prosper. Now, most people, they will say they want to prosper, and everything about their fucking life will reveal the lie of which they exist, as they continue to feed the mirage and the illusions of which they exist, to passively go through life without conquering anything. You haven't overcame anything. You've been stagnating this entire time. And so what I want you guys to truly understand, and what I want you guys to do, is I want you to identify with being a conqueror. Because every time you fail to uphold your duty, your responsibility, every time you fail to overcome what is leaving you in smithereens, you have to understand that that is a reflection of your inadequacy and the lack of conqueror within you. You lack primordial essence. You lack actual, factual, realistic, tangible masculinity. Masculinity, simply the force, a momentum force of power to get shit done at the highest fucking level. And so most of you guys are like these feminine cupcake ass pussy ass bitches, and the only reason you do it is because you need validation from the external world, because you know you're not valid. If you knew you were valid, you would be yourself as you are, but instead you turn into this fucking shape-shifting zombie, and you conform to every perception of which perceives you, as you zombify yourself through everything you can get your hands on to pleasure yourself, like Pornhub, other people. And so the best thing to get through your fucking head is that nothing is going to save you but yourself. Nothing can deviate you away from the path but yourself. And every time you wake up and make a choice to step away from the path, well, that's your ass. And you're going to have to exist in the consequence of. And so most of you guys exist in these infinite shame loops, these infinite apathetic loops. And how the fuck are you not going to feel shameful if you're constantly 24/7 being dominated by your lower self? If you can't get the fuck up and stand the fuck up and confront yourself, how the fuck are you going to feel anything of nobility in life? You are not proud of anything. You have been stagnating this entire time. This is why you need validation. This is why you need a pat on the back. It's because deep down you know you don't have that for yourself. You don't pat yourself on the back because you don't overcome enough. You guys have to understand that life to live life as a conqueror, which I want you to become. To live life as a conqueror is to stack wins every fucking day. And so when you stack wins every fucking day, well, you have to understand that your life is just going to consist of winning. And so do you think a constant winner needs a fucking pat on the back? I won yesterday. I won the day before. When we bring it back 2 years ago, I was winning. Why the fuck do I need a pat on the back? Winning is the standard. And so most of you guys need validation. You need to feel valid because you're invalid. And if you don't get that pat on the back, now you have to sit with the void of silence of which you should be existing in to confront yourself, to actually invoke some tension, to transmute that into momentum, and to actually use that as a force to push you towards your goal. And so most of you guys will forever go through life without a soul. You'll never actually confront the things in yourself of which you need to confront. But in all factuality, this is a reflection of the self-deception of which you live in. And I want you guys to truly look at life, and I want you to conquer yourself. See, most of you guys hear the word conquer, and now you think it's about violence. You think it's about upheaval. You think it's about chaos. This is why you're so fucking stupid, you inbred fuck. It's not about being a fucking tyrant. It's about looking in the mirror and dominating yourself. You watch Pornhub, a conqueror is going to look in that fucking mirror and overcome that shit. You've been smoking weed for how fucking long? You still live at your mom's house. A conqueror is going to look in the mirror and confront that shit. You guys do nothing for yourself but pleasure yourself, and it's rotting you from the inside out, and your life is a reflection of the inadequate bitch in the fucking mirror. And then the worst part about it is you think you are that, and you believe you are valuable because the fucks around you give you a pat on the back for doing fucking nothing. Fake validation, perceptual validation doesn't validate you. The only thing that validates you is your fucking conduct. And the way you conduct, the way you conduce into reality, the way you behave, your conduct, you're either auspicious or you're conducing yourself to outcomes you don't want. And so the definition of auspicious is to simply conduce yourself with success, to conduce, right? And so you have to understand that, when we go and look into the, dynamics of, quantum physics and human, the human existence itself, we really are just a nervous system, which is electricity in a brain. And so most of you guys will look in the mirror and think that's you, but you're just a nervous system, and your energy is reflecting your reality. And so most of you guys, your energy is horrible because all you do is conduce negative habits into your system. And so your brain is like this cesspool, and you can't get out the fucking swamp because you're too stuck in the illusions and charades of which you have to play to mask the truth, which is beyond the mask, which is the void you refuse to confront. And so I want you guys to confront yourself at the highest level. I want you to begin moving with some auspicious motives. I want you to become a conqueror by overcoming what is conquering you. I want you to dominate fucking life. And I don't want you to look to the fucking pussy next to you. I don't want you to look at that bitch next to you. I want you to look in the fucking mirror and validate yourself, because no one is going to know you as well as you know you. But the thing about you guys is that that's a negative thing. And so no one's going to know you jerk off every night. No one's going to know you always feel like crying yourself to sleep. No one's going to know that you're addicted to fucking bottle, vape, porn, weed. No one's going to know that you're secretly insecure. And so this is bad. But no one's also going to know that you overcame those things. No one's going to know what you had to go through to face those things in yourself. And so to seek validation through other people is low-key meaningless, because no one's going to actually know what the fuck is going on beyond the mask. And so what goes on beyond the mask, aka what happens in your brain, how you feel, how you think, the way you view life, all these things are the most important things for yourself, but you're allowing other people to flip the narrative on you. And so you become a slave to the validation, and then you need validation from other people, because if you have to sit with that silence, it's too confronting. And so sit in the silence and confront yourself. Most of you guys need to sit there for a good 2 weeks by yourself without fucking social media and just sit there and really confront who the fuck you've been. Because you'll realize that the urges are going to begin hitting you. I need to go do this. I need to do that. It's your brain literally wired to distract you. And so once you can get out that distraction, constant escaping, the moment you can actually sit with yourself, you'll realize you have nothing to do. And that nothingness that you're doing nothing with your life. And so when you can escape, when there's no more holes to jump through, when it's just you and yourself and confrontation, you'll realize that you have nothing to do with your life. And so you're always seeking something to do because you have no purpose to exist. You're always trying to escape the fact you're purposeless. And so the moment you realize that when you can sit with yourself, confront yourself, you'll actually shift your life towards a trajectory of actually winning, actually choosing to overcome, actually becoming a conqueror, and actually overcoming those things which you are using to escape. And the moment you can escape these things, that's when you begin to realize that you don't need to escape, because your life is now the work of development, aka evolution. And so your life is now oriented around evolving instead of escaping. And so most of you guys will always sit there by yourself, and you'll always get a hit of an urge to fucking go do some shit to escape your life. But when you can sit there in the silence and you can really be aware, you can be aware now of when the temptation to escape your reality hits you. I need to go hang out with friends. I need to go do this. I need to go do that. I don't know what to do. It's too boring. My life is boring. You have to understand that is a reflection of the void you neglect. That's why you need to escape. And so the moment you can confront that void of boringness, and the moment you can realize you're doing no work on yourself, because the work of you is life. And so when you don't do the work of yourself, well, you're going to escape, and this is going to reflect in the character that you embody. So the best thing to do is to confront the void and to actually make your life the work of growth and success, instead of going through life trying to escape and neglecting the responsibility to confront the little piece of shit reflecting back at you in the fucking mirror. The individual who sits there doesn't value their life or anything, always needs to escape, gets hit with the temptation, instantly goes towards it. What the fuck is wrong with you? Guys, you only live once. The value of your life is a reflection of your self-worth. And if you don't feel like you're built for auspicious motives, if you don't believe you're built to build something in life, well, don't. We don't give a fuck. It's your life to live, and no one has to be you but you. So no one actually gives a fuck. If you don't give a fuck, why would we give a fuck? You don't give a fuck, and it's your life. And so sit with that and confront the void. Peace.